in the neighborhood. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Hello, folks. How you doing? If you get this live here, do me a favor and just push the live out for me, if you may. Collaboration, right? I'm gonna push it out for a little bit, but I thought I saved it. I just put it in my thing. Good morning. Good. How you all doing? It's a nice day outside and everything. Just got through looking at some properties, looking at actually $2.2 million worth of properties, or yeah, $2.2 million worth of properties. And how you doing, Renee? We get too much into the idea, and I want to talk about, as I take a little drive, for us as African Americans, and I'm just not just people period, but I'm definitely speaking to my people and stuff like that, because we need, not only we need healing, but we need education, and we need to reprogram ourselves and refocus. We need more collaboration, way less competition, more collaboration, because information and education is free. It's not something that should be paid for. It's free. But because we have been programmed to believe that I need to compete against this person, I need to compete against that person, what we essentially do, we tear down or we defeat another person, and in our mindset we won. But the truth is, if I'm trying to tear down your business, I'm also tearing down my business. If I'm getting into a position of competition, of talking bad about your business and put your business down, how are you gonna make my business look? Just as worse, right? Because people perceive the negativity attaches itself to the subject, right? So I promote collaboration, no competition, because that's what we're out here doing. And for some reason, we're not seeing that, or we're not understanding that if we collaborate more, what's up, Randy? If we collaborate more, brothers and sisters, and supporting each other, nurturing each other, really pushing for each other, and economically as well as emotionally and physically and mentally, we'll be able to help each other heal. We can literally lift each other up. And the reason why I say that is because as African Americans, we have made other nationalities or races, or whatever you want to say it, we've made them millionaires. Why? Because we consume so much at their stores or at their businesses or what they do. We consume so much. It's not a race issue, but once you start looking at things as an intellectual issue, so that way we have to start changing the way we're looking at things, the way that we're doing things. Thank you, Randy. I appreciate it, brother. We must understand collaboration and networking with one another is powerful. I'm not competing with another African American. I'm not competing with Latino. I'm not competing. I don't want to compete with nobody really, because see, the reason why I say that is because in competition, I have to defeat that person. My focus is on defeating that person. My focus isn't on success. My focus becomes upon defeating that person. So therefore, my focus now is upon a negative idea of destroying or belittling or defeating that person, or becoming better or overridden in some type of way of that person and their business. But when I'm focused on success, if I take that energy and focus as being successful, I have no problem. The blessings that I have overpoureth, my cup overpoureth, right? So I can only, as a human, I can only hold so many blessings anyway. I can only do so much anyway. So my cup runneth over, which is a great thing, because everyone around me now becomes a blessing because I'm blessed. The same idea that's spoken for us, we have to exercise. I don't need to hold the knowledge. I don't need to hold all the information. Let me share the information, because my brother and sister, I'm gonna tell you something. I may run 10 miles, but the 10 miles that I run with the information I have and I freely share it, I've just allowed someone else to run 20 miles. You see, I want them to run farther than me. I want them to go stronger than me. I want them to go longer than me. They make my run just that much easier. Collaboration is important. Collaboration is very important. Us being able to support each other and understand what that support really means is very important. I cannot compete with anybody because competition means that I have to either I'm stepping down to a level to compete with somebody. I'm no longer focused on being successful. I'm focused on competing and defeating somebody. We do not have to do that. There's so much financial opportunity out here. So much, as people want to say, so much money out here. Who are you competing with? Who are you going against? Who are you trying to defeat? Right? Because in all these essences of things that you're doing, you're still not being able to be as successful as you are if you take all that focus and focus on being successful. Collaboration takes you a whole lot farther than competition. It's kind of like the saying that says, like, if you want to go fast, go alone. You want to go far, go together. My brothers and sisters, I want us to understand we need to collaborate. I don't mind collaborating with anybody. You don't have to pay me for a consultation to get on the phone and talk to you. You don't have to pay me for that. You don't have to pay me for information, get on the phone and talk to you. I understand it's my intellectual property. Now, we having a whole big meeting and all that stuff, that's different. But if you want to get on the phone and have a 25-minute conversation, 30-minute conversation, no problem. You want to get on the phone and talk for 2 hours? Okay. I need $20. Something for the intellectual property that we're going to have over the phone as far as a meeting. But you ain't got to pay me $1,000 for a 2-hour talk on the phone. I love to talk. I'm a social person anyway, so me talking is just my nature of what the Almighty God has blessed me with the Great One blessed me with anyway. So, but the care about people, I genuinely care about people and our progress. I genuinely care about my people and how we need to reprogram ourselves up here. We have to. How you doing, Brian? We have to reprogram the way we're thinking up here. Our problem is here. The problem has never been that we're not able to get our hands on financial funds. It's never been a problem we're not able to make money. The problem is what we're doing with our money. We're never putting our money in positions to make money for us. Shiny and free. And I'm going to take this example of that. I was reading an article the other day where the person was so attracted or was going after something that was so attractive, right? It was a materialistic item, and even a judge sat there and said, all you chasing is shiny and free. That's it. Shiny and free. You're not there's nothing that you're going after that's productive, that's gonna produce anything. You just got a whole bunch of stuff that's shiny and free, and in the end, it's not doing anything for you. And I thought about that. I said, you know what? I said, man, that's so true. Because in that essence of understanding that, we do that. And we continue to blame somebody else about our financial situation of where we're not succeeding at. But the truth is, we're not succeeding financially because we're not succeeding financially. So much opportunity out here for us to share knowledge and education. I tell people, and I just advise people on buying property. I say, buy property. If you can't do nothing but get one piece of property, whether it's cheap or whatever, buy it. Buy it, fix it up, rent it out. We have to reprogram ourselves to understand something. We like to wear our money. We like to roll around the rims with our money. We like to make sure we go out and get the nicest vehicle with our money. But in everything that we're doing, is the vehicle making you money? The clothes you're wearing making you money? The jewelry you got on making you money? Who cares if you got some 26s on your truck? So what? You can't even see the rims when you're driving. You can't even see the rims when you're driving, right? And so you can't really enjoy the rims because you're driving. The only time you get to look at your own rims is when the car is parked, the vehicle's parked. You see how silly that is? We're investing in a basket of holes in it. And we wonder why we're consistently and continuously financially struggling. Part of that financial gap we're creating. It's not that someone else is doing it for us, or it's not that someone else is intentionally trying to create that gap for us as much of an effort as we are doing it ourselves. We're creating it. I go out here right now, I go buy $1,000 worth of jeans and shirts and outfits and stuff like that just for this weekend to go out here and hang out at the club. I create my own my own bad situation. Nobody else did it for me. I did it for myself. So who can I blame? But then you get the same idea of people who want to turn around and they want to blame somebody else about their financial situation, when the truth is, no, you put yourself in that situation because financially you were not being responsible. Someone didn't financially educate you on the responsibilities of money, or somebody have taught you the wrong habits, and those habits now are you're defeating yourself. Nobody has to defeat you, you're defeating yourself. You know, and that's what we definitely have to get away from, because if we continue to allow ourselves to do that, if we continue to push that issue or push that understanding of things like that, we will never become everything that we're trying to be financially. We're never going to get that higher echelon, or we're never going to be able to see ourselves have an actual cash flow of money coming in to where we're able to make money. The reason why you see people running around making money or having the opportunity to build that financial wealth is because they're buying assets that's bringing them money, right? Let's think about this. If let's say I own 5 homes, I own 5 properties, right? My cash flow, after I pay all the bills, the mortgage on them and stuff like that, my renters pay me, I pay all the bills, everything I owe. Off of 5 properties, let's say I make $2,000, let's say I make $2,300 off of 5 properties, right? So the $2,300 that I make off 5 properties, how you doing, Barbara? The $2,300 that I got cash flow coming in off of someone else's money. Now I'm able to do what? I can maybe have a nice vehicle because I'm not paying for that monthly payment on that vehicle. The renters are, or my business is, or those type of things. It's not money coming directly out of my pocket, right? So we have to understand this. You have your pocket, and then you have what's called your business money. We operate too much out of our pockets. We want to ball out of our pockets. We want to go to the club out of our pockets. We want to do all those things. We want to buy clothes. We ball so much to where you can invest in yourself becoming poor, just like you can invest in yourself becoming wealthy or making more money. The problem is we have to become more financially educated and understand that. How you doing, Barbara? Thank you. It's not about a new year. We need a new mindset, because 2021 will be here, 2022 will be here, all this will be here, and if you don't change this right here, I don't care what year it is, you're gonna still be in the same situation. Just a different year. While everybody else is passing you up, you still in that same situation, talking the same thing, and having that same mindset that's continuing putting that same position of poverty, knocking you down the ladder instead of up the ladder. We have to begin to understand that we change that. How we change that? Financial education, financial understanding that there are ways, there's cash and there's credit. Cash is king, credit is a real thing. Or as a friend of mine says, credit is emperor. And, and the realisticness of it is that we have not been programming ourselves enough to understand that we can do that. We can really begin to understand how we fix our credit. I help people fix their credit, but I also help you get access to $100,000 in credit. Now, think about that. Just think about that what I just told you, and think about the power behind that. Think about the power that goes behind that when you talk about credit and fixing your credit and credit cards and stuff. But also, if I say here, I told you, I will help you destroy your credit, and I will help you become more in debt by $100,000. There's nothing that's nice that sounds about that, right? But understand this, that people do this to themselves every day, subliminally. That's why they want you to go buy the Jordans. That's why they want you to go buy the LeBron, $200 pair of LeBron shoes. For what? It's a pair of shoes. $200 is a pair of shoes that costs $15 to make, but you're gonna go put on something for $200. Our mindset is the problem. we look at things so differently. We look at things in such a way of thinking that because of what I wear, what I ride, what I drive in, gives me worth or gives me some type of status, when really it only makes me poor. That's why you sit in these communities that's poor. That's why your mindset's poor. That's why you're broke the first week of the month. You're broke. Now you gotta try to hustle for the rest of the month just to get broke again next month. We change the way we handle money, think about money, and our habits around money. Now we begin to start changing our own situations financially. No, the government's not going to save you. Welfare isn't going to help you. These programs out here, they're only meant to give you a bridge from one month to another, but it's not helping you as far as generational wealth. It's not helping you as far as a year from now or 2 years from now. It's not. It's meant to help you month to month. That's it. Change our mindset, and you put the work in 6 months, it could set you up to be financially free, to where the next 2 years, now you're taking vacations. You're not even working for 6 months. You're living off of the residualness of your hard work financially to be able not only to free yourself up, but now you're freeing your family up. Now you can talk about financial wealth. Now you can be able to really, exercise or demonstrate how to become better. But we have to change it up here. If we don't change it here, it's not going to happen nowhere else. Collaboration will take us a lot farther than competition. There's too much out here. What you gonna compete for? What are you competing? What are you competing for? What are you trying to tear somebody else's business down for? What are you trying to be able to talk bad about somebody else's business for? When all the opportunity over here. I just left a meeting of people. This guy is selling about, I say about maybe 50 homes. 40, 50 homes, right? 40, 50 homes or properties. 40, 50 properties, land and homes mixed in together, right? And I'm like, man, the price is, well, $2.2 million he want for all that. My understanding of it is that, okay, well, there's always a negotiation process in there, but the long-term stretch of that allows the opportunity to create a cash flow of, my cash flow can be 20 grand a month off them properties. Off all 50 properties can be 20 grand a month, or 40, 50 properties, right? But I gotta get the understanding up here that my financial habits will put me in place not only to be at the table to make the deal, but to also seal the deal, turn around and rehab the properties, fix them up, and put tenants in them, and now we're making cash flow. Now, Monday morning, I can get up and say, you know what? I'm gonna take a flight. I want to go to California for a week. My tenants paying me every month regardless. It hurts me because I know that my people, we can do better. It hurts me because I know my people, we need to stop being competitive with each other and trying to fight each other, shoot each other, kill each other, and start getting these young people, middle-aged people, I don't care, all people, ages of our people, sit them down and start talking to them about financial wealth and what it really means. Because the power of the dollar is real. But if we don't get it up in here, it's not gonna exercise anywhere else, because we're stuck. We're stuck in a behavior pattern that continues to say, we're gonna be poor. I'm gonna invest in myself being poor. I'm gonna invest in myself staying a downridden neighborhood. I'm gonna invest in myself tearing my own life up. And guess what? I'm going to pass that down to my children. I'm going to pass down to my nieces and nephews. I'm going to pass over to my cousins. I'm going to pass this disease of my mindset over. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to multiply it. But if we change that and say, I'm going to start being more responsible with my money. I'm going to fix my credit. I'm going to get with Dewan and find out how I can get this access to higher lines of credit cards and credit limits. Let me sit down and learn from somebody else how to create this wealth system for my household. So now the behaviors that you're doing positively, that's increasing yourself, your children will repeat. They're going to mimic it. People say as I do as I say, not as I do. When I was a kid, I used to say it all the time, and I thought that was so stupid. Even then, do as I say, not as I do. I say, well, if I see you drinking, what do you think I'm gonna do? I don't care what you say not to do. I see you doing it, so I'm gonna do as you're doing. And children do that. They mimic the behaviors of our elders and what parents, what we see. Forget what you're talking about. What I see you doing speaks louder volumes. It speaks louder volumes because the behavior is what I'm watching. The behavior is what my brain takes in. The behavior is what I'm going to remember. What you're saying about don't do this, it conflicts what I see you doing. So if you're telling me not to do it, but you're doing it, then obviously I can do it too, because you're foregoing the action with it. We have to position ourselves and understand that that's how critical, that's how important, and that's how necessary it is for us to collaborate. Begin to get better financial education. Begin to understand that we can do better financially. We keep talking about the financial gap, but we have a responsibility in that financial gap. Do you know we actually contribute to that financial gap because we have financial illiteracy? We're financial literate, a lot of us are. And that's not be disrespectful, I mean just financially uneducated. We don't know that, I don't need to go out here and do all that. I don't need to go out here and chase $200 pair of Jordan, LeBrons. Instead of buying a $200 pair of LeBrons, the Nike stock is $81.86. Let me buy 2 shares of stock. Now I got a return every time somebody buy a pair of LeBrons. But do you know you can buy enough Nike stock to where your returns every quarter bought you a pair of bought you the LeBrons, and your money is still making money for you. You can buy. Okay, you say you have no credit cards, Barbara. Well, we need to change that because we have been taught. I'm just changing the subject for a little bit. We've been taught going up that credit cards are bad. Credit cards is bad. Actually, credit cards is great. They really are. Credit cards is great. It's how you use them. It's how you use them. And if you're not using the credit cards right, if you're not knowing how to use the credit cards right, if you're not disciplined, understanding the system behind that, then you are the common denominator to what you're talking about is bad. You're the one making them bad. You're the common denominator that can make them bad, or you're the common denominator that can make the credit cards good and the process of using them good. You are. You have that power. But understanding how we use that is very, very important. It's so critical, it's so important that it's just not about gaining $50,000 to $100,000 in credit card credit, but it's also being able to understand the responsibility behind it and saying, how can I make this become an asset for me to where I'm paid even generationally down to my grandchildren, money's still coming in. How can I make that happen? How can I do that? And I'll show you how. All you gotta do is contact me, give me, and I'll show you how. I don't want to take up too much of your time for this afternoon. Afternoon. I'm gonna be back. I will be back on here a couple hours because I want to talk about our mindset around everything, and how we have mental disease, but how mentally we allow ourselves to be programmed to think that we're not worthy of more. Therefore, we allow ourselves to act in that manner of not wanting more or accepting just the lowest bottom of the barrel, and therefore it affects us, our children, our generations, and the cycle continues itself. We want to break that cycle. You're worthy of everything that you want in this world that's positive, but you have to understand something. You have to position yourself to get that. And all we do is prepare you in a position to start getting the wealth that you deserve and doing the things that's necessary for you to be able to go higher. What's up, Melissa? How you doing? Financial wealth is for everybody. You can have financial wealth. We can all have financial wealth. But if we're not doing the things necessary to have that, we're not investing, we're not buying stocks, we're not buying investments, we're not buying assets that's going to help us make more money, and then it's our fault. It's no one else's fault. Just like you can walk out here and buy a pair of $200 LeBrons, you can walk and buy 2 shares of Nike stock. And you buy 2 shares of Nike stock every month, your return every quarter will buy you the pair of LeBrons already. And your money's still making money for you. So I'm gonna get off here and go in here and give you something to another meeting and everything. But I just want you to think about that. Think about where you're at right now, and do you want to be better financially? I'll talk to you, ladies and gentlemen, later. Barbara, if you have any more questions, please contact me, and we can definitely get you some credit cards and some higher limit credit cards, so that way you'll be able to start now acting and position yourself in a position where you're able to have that generational wealth. You're able to build wealth. Right? So you all, ladies and gentlemen, y'all have a great afternoon. I'm gonna go in here and get this meeting, and I'll talk to you, ladies and gentlemen. I'll talk to you, ladies and gentlemen, later. Okay? Bye bye.